All right, thanks for joining us. So high school hoops are in full swing here in the Valley. Now let's take a look at the standings. Battle Mountain High boys basketball is having a rough start to the new year. The Huskies have fallen twice in 2 games they've played in the new year. Once to Grand Junction and Evergreen. The Huskies are now on a 7-game skid dating back to 2023, and their most recent win came against Regis Groff at the beginning of December. Battle Mountain will play their next home game against Vail Mountain School. On the other hand, the rival school, Eagle Valley, is on a hot streak right now in the new year. The Devils are on a 3-game win streak and have only lost 1 game so far in 2024. Eagle Valley boys basketball is sitting at 7-5 on the season, and the Devils will play their next home game against Grand Junction. Vail Mountain School boys basketball has not played a game yet in the new year. The Girl Rangers are sitting at 3-2 on the season, with their most recent game, which was a win over Clear Creek. Vail Mountain School's next home game will come against Wrangley. Now, Vail Christian boys basketball is on a new head coach this season, and they're looking to make some strides in the new year as well. The Saints are on a 2-5 record this season, and they're coming off a loss to DeBeck. The Saints are on a 3-game losing streak, but have the opportunity to turn this around in their next home game against South Park. Now, boys basketball isn't the only sport we're going to cover this morning. Our girls basketball teams at the high school level, they're in full stride as well. Battle Mountain High girls basketball is in the middle of a tough season. The team is sitting at 3-5 on the year and coming off a loss to Grand Junction that ended a 2-game win streak for the Huskies. Battle Mountain girls basketball will play their next home game against rival school Eagle Valley at the end of the month. Eagle Valley High girls basketball, on the other hand, is 1 game behind from batting .500 on the year. The Devils sit at 4-5 on the season and have yet to play a game on the hardwood in 2024. Eagle Valley High's last basketball game was against Fruita Monument in mid-December. Now, Vail Christian High girls basketball is under the leadership of a new head coach, just like the boys program. The girls team sits at 1-4 on the year, but is on a 4-game skid after winning their first game of the season against Lake County. The Saints girls basketball team will have a chance to turn things around against Cap Rock Academy. Now, as we mentioned earlier, Vail Christian boys basketball has a brand new head coach, and we talked with Andrew Newman, the new guy at the helm of the Saints men's basketball program. So here's that conversation. So we're with the new head coach of Vail Christian basketball, Andrew Newman. And Coach, you got a new season in front of you. What's kind of the expectation there?
Well, it's really hard to say right now. We're a very green, very young team, but we're super excited. A lot of great kids, a lot of work ethic going on, a lot of effort going in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, and I was telling you this earlier when we were chatting just a minute ago, but you know, you guys may be a newer team, but it seems like the chemistry is already there. Do you feel like you guys already kind of have that camaraderie on the team?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of the seniors in particular are doing a great job leading us, so they're building that chemistry from the top down, and then the younger guys in each of those classes, there's a couple kids that are really leading their classes, so I'm really happy to see this early in the season, this kind of chemistry.
Okay, in what ways will those seniors come together? You mentioned you have 3, Jack Pryor, Will Newman. How do you think those guys are going to kind of come together and lead this team this season?
Well, they're going to have to really put in a lot of effort on the court, probably getting a lot of minutes out there. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but it's more their leadership off the court that matters. They're doing a great job really leading these guys and building that chemistry, especially encouraging the younger guys. You know, when you're new to high school basketball or it's your first time on varsity, there's a lot you got to learn. There's a huge learning curve, and those guys are doing a great job encouraging the younger players.
And you may be new to the head coaching role, taking over the helm of this Vail Christian program, but you're not new to the team by any standard. You've been here 2 years, got the torch passed over you from Coach Coons. What was that moment like to be kind of handed the role of this program that's been successful in his 23 years here, to be that guy that he wanted to take over the helm?
Yeah, that was a huge honor. Really grateful for everything that he's done for this school and for this program. And like you said, 23 years, he's built a winning culture, a winning program, a great chemistry. We're going to be keeping a lot of things that he did and just try to build on the great foundation he's already created.
Okay, and you mentioned, not a lot's going to change. That winning culture is hopefully going to stick around too with you at the helm. But what things may change under your leadership?
We're going to keep trying to maintain a pretty high tempo. This valley is a valley that has a lot of great athletes. We've got a lot of great athletes on this team, so can work really hard to keep pushing the tempo and really working to have a high character team that in everything we do, we're trying to reflect the values of this school.
Okay, and you mentioned you got a scrimmage with Battle Mountain coming up. Obviously, that's an exhibition game against, another Valley team, so you probably want to do pretty well in that matchup. But what kind of makes that a good game from y'all, how you show up against Battle Mountain?
Well, it's going to be interesting because we're only going to have about 6 practices with this green group of guys before we hit that scrimmage. So we're still learning each other's names, let alone all the offenses, defenses. So a lot of it's just going to be going out there and playing good basketball. It is fun, though, to be playing inter-valley teams. A lot of these guys play together in the off season, so they all know each other. And so what's really fun is those friendships, knowing the coaches, knowing the guys, the friendships off the court, and then you get on the court, all of a sudden, game's on. It's competition. And even though in a scrimmage, you're not supposed to keep score, I can promise you, every one of our guys, they're going to know the score in their own heads. So we'll have a good time.
And speaking about playing, inter-valley teams, you guys play Vail Mountain School twice a year. That's the big rivalry in this valley for y'all. What's it going to be like, you think, just getting on the court as the head coach of this team and playing them this year for your first time at the helm?
Yeah, this year we're going to be playing them at their gym. Their gym is always packed. It's a tight gym. It'll be a full house, I'm sure. And like you said, it's an in-valley competition, so this should be a really good time. It's going to be a tough game. They always play a tough game. They're a very well-coached team. They're very strategic in the way they play the game, so it's going to be a really tough game for sure.
How have you kind of grown to appreciate this rivalry between Vail Christian and Vail Mountain School in your 2 years prior to taking over this team?
Well, it's always one of the games we have circled on our calendar, and I'm sure they do as well. It's just a good time. I mean, off the court, you want to be able to say you won that game this year, so they'll have a great program. They always have a great program. Hopefully we'll be strong as well, and it should be a really tight game.
Okay, and you mentioned Plateau Valley this season as being a big contender. Obviously, you may have a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth after last season, but what are you looking to get out of that matchup this year with them?
Well, we're going to learn a lot where we stand. They're third game of the season, so we have the home opener, and then we've got them on the 5th of December. And as you mentioned, they beat us twice in a row last year, 2 out of 3 games in a row. So that'll be a really tough team. They've got most of their starting lineup returning from that state team that went to state last year, and it'll be a really good way for us to find out, where we stand compared to the rest of the conference, and where we stand even in terms of being a potential state contender.
Mm-hmm. And this may be the hardest question I ask you all day, but if you could just narrow it down, what do you think you're looking forward to the most in this new season?
Wow. I just honestly enjoy being on the court with these guys. I mean, it's an awesome group of guys. I've mentioned I grew up in a gym basically with my dad being a coach, and so the chance just to be in the gym with a great group of guys, obviously the competition, doing a little bit of mentoring along the way, and I hope we get a couple wins as well. That'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Anything you want to add?
No, just grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Over at Keystone, the brand new Bergman Express chairlift is officially open for business at the resort, which allows you as a skier or snowboarder to access some of Keystone's high alpine terrain. Keystone Resort opened the entirety of Bergman Bowl with the new chairlift, allowing guests to explore over 250 acres of high alpine skiing and riding, including one of the nation's highest green trails, 10 Mile. Once terrain in Erickson Bowl opens, the total acreage accessed by the new chairlift will be about 555 acres. While Bergman and Erickson Bowls have previously been open for hike to skiing and riding access at the resort, much of Keystone's hike to bowl terrain has largely gone underutilized. For the first time ever now, both Bergman and Erickson Bowls are accessible by lift to a variety of skiers and riders at the resort. Bergman Express allows guests to easily lap the mellow and welcoming terrain in the Bergman Bowl, as well as access more advanced terrain in Erickson Bowl that connects back to the Outback Express and Wayback lifts. So, in addition to the new lift, the project also includes a new sustainable patrol hut, new snowmaking infrastructure in the lower parts of the Bergman Bowl, and a brand new trail map to reflect the reimagined ski experience in Keystone's high alpine. Bergman Express is Keystone Resort's first lift access expansion since the Outback Express debuted in 1991, more than 30 years ago. Well, the Broncos have officially put the 2023-24 season to bed after falling to the Raiders, their AFC West divisional opponent, on Sunday. This is the 8th season in a row the Broncos have missed the playoffs, and the last time they went was in 2015 when they won the Super Bowl. This season certainly had its moments where we saw bits of what this team can become, but unfortunately we'll have to wait until next season to watch them play again. Denver finished tied for second in the AFC West with a record of 8-9 on the year. Just another year the Broncos have fallen short of making the playoffs, but maybe we'll see some good games this year from the Avs and the Nuggets. Make sure to continue coming back to us for all the latest sports coverage here in the Valley and beyond. We'll see you next time.